African-American Arts-Alliance is about, and 3 words easy to remember: promotion, patronage, and investment. That's what we're about. We're trying to encourage promotion, patronage, and investments in the arts and the CSRA. We've heard from so many people that lay people that Augusta sucks, there's nothing to do, that kind of stuff. And then I know a lot of artists who are doing all kinds of extraordinary things. So there's a disconnect somehow between the general public and what the arts community is providing. So what we want to do is try to bridge that gap. And we're doing that in a number of ways. Some of the things you'll hear about tonight is some of our answers to that, but we're going to continue to listen to the public and listen to the arts community and the arts agencies and see what we can do to bridge some of those gaps.
We're going to make our yellow pages of artists in Augusta so that when venues are looking for a certain kind of act to cater to a certain kind of audience, they can go through us. When artists are looking for opportunities to audition or submit work, they can go through us. When you have a project that you want to show off at a gallery, you can find that way. Right now in Augusta we kind of have different factions in different areas, and maybe not everybody's talking to everybody else. But this will really try to build that 360-degree contact, that network for us. So we start strong and we keep going. Any new artists that come in. One of the problems we have in Augusta is we outsource our talent. We outsource our talent. We bring it in, people from outside, and we send our great talent away. But if we can really build these networks and build these audiences, then we can make it. We can let good artists stay here, make a living from it, and keep that going. So that's what my role is really, get the names, get the numbers, get the locations, get them together. Another side thing is I want to make it a big Google map of these places. So if you look at it, you can create your own Google Maps, put little flags on things and addresses. So as I get information, especially for venues, then we'll get a map of places for you to look for. If you're looking for entertainment, if you're looking to provide entertainment, all around Augusta. If you want to hop around, in large metropolitan areas, they have city hops. Around here we can really get that going. So there's really no excuse to say, oh, what's going on Friday night? What's going on Saturday night? Get your friends together and set up that little network.
He's building databases. So you'll be able to click on music, and then when you go into the music database, it'll be separated by genre. So we'll have a list of all the gospel artists, we'll have a list of all the jazz artists, all the hip hop artists. So that's one destination place where those people will be, but also theater. You click on theater, you have a list of all the playwrights, actors, and production people, the authors in the city, the spoken word professionals in the city, on and on. So that is one way that we can help, is by making sure the public has a connection to some of these people. And right now we don't know how many there are, so that's why we thought this would be a good idea, a good starting point, so we know who to reach out to and who we're speaking with and for, as we move forward to what we're doing with the Arts-Alliance overall.
We're going to put this database in the cloud so that all of the board members have access and permissions to it. So when the brother here gets ready to upload information, we're going to have this information already in the cloud. We're going to have a server in a building somewhere so we can access it if we're in our backyard or we're in Africa. Okay. Secondly, the website is up. We've got some links that we're going to work on it this weekend. And then once we get it where it's really, really comfortable, then we're really going to push out and let you guys know what we've got.
And we're CSRA African-American Arts-Alliance.org.
Yeah.
This is just one magazine, but it'll give you an idea. We want it to look very state-of-the-art, very, very, very rich in color, as well as content, and it will be able to update our readers about what's going on with the Art Alliance. We're definitely looking for other people, so if you like to write, if you curate content, I don't know if you know what that means, but if you like blog and that sort of thing and you're interested in helping out, please get with me. I would love to talk to you more about it, as well as photographers and videographers, because we would also like to have the magazine be an extension on the website. So again, please talk to me a little bit more about that. I'm trying to think of what else I can say about the magazine. It's really just going to be a great project. We're in the process now of just laying it out and developing the different departments. So there'll be an arts department within the magazine, there'll be a history department, there'll be kind of like a Did You Know About Augusta section. So definitely looking for more input. So even if you just have ideas for the magazine, love to hear them.
Well, we're going to do a homecoming for the arts and entertainment industry. There's a lot of brothers and sisters, and that includes white and black. When I say brothers and sisters, there's a lot of brothers and sisters from or with a connection to the CSRA that are doing things all across the country. Our goal is to contact them and to try to get all of them to come back home and celebrate with us once a year. Because we really want to build that regional and national dialogue. Because right now, when you think about Augusta, we're not a continuous part of that national creative and cultural conversation. But that's what we're trying to do. We got great talent here. We have a very unique history and cultural dynamic, and we want to begin to communicate that with the rest of the world. So we believe that having a connection with our brothers and sisters with a connection to the CSRA will help us get to that goal. And we've already been talking to certain people that are planning to attend. I don't know if you guys know Naomi Lett and D. Reginald Lewis, Tony Mercedes. We reached out to him. Talked to Russell. He's going to try. Russell Joel Brown may come back, and Shay Roundtree, Keith Robinson, those kinds of people. But there's a number of people in Atlanta, like Brad James, and a bunch of actors and musicians and singers right here in Atlanta. So a lot of them are planning to come back. That date is going to be October 22nd at the Kroc Center. We've already got the building with space reserved. A lot of surprises that night. Really, that will be our official grand opening. We're going to celebrate arts and creative talent. You're also going to see some great musicians being featured. It's going to have a 1940s theme. And we're kind of looking at Augusta. When we say Augusta, we mean the CSRA. So we're going to be looking at the CSRA from the 1940s. We're also going to have a visual arts display that night at the same time. Where we've got, I think it's up to 10 right now, visual artists that are going to look at Augusta at that period of time and create paintings around that theme, the 1940s of the CSRA. And I didn't want her to give it away, but we'll launch our magazine on that same night. So, and our website should be ready that night, so we'll be launching the website that night. So you see there's a lot of activity during our grand opening.
The Arts-Alliance is seeking local literary artists to serve as poet laureate. The person will be selected as the public advocate for the appreciation and advancement of the literary arts, and particularly selected writing, prose, and that genre in the CSRA area. The CSRA Arts-Alliance Poet Laureate will chronicle a year of the current events, issues, and life of the arts community and the African-American community throughout that course of that year. The Poet Laureate will be published quarterly in the magazine that Anthony discussed and talked about it in the newsletter as well. And at the end of that year, and this is a twist, I added this in, I was inspired. And I said at the end of the year, the CSRA African-American Arts-Alliance would copyright a body of that artist's work and have it published for sale and for the beginning of a library that would be housed in our own space. And so we're going to be looking for creative artists, for writers, to join us on this year-long journey of chronicling what's going on in the arts community. And also that could be not even just the arts community, but what's going on in our community that would be reflected in writing, what needs to be responded to in writing. And that would be the charge of the Poet Laureate. The CSRA Art-Alliance is also announcing an Artist in Residence program. And the goal of the Artist in Residence program will be to support an artist for 1 year. A 1-year project to increase visibility and participation in the arts for the underserved communities. The applications will be evaluated, and we actually going to, both of these programs, we're going to have the applications out and available probably by the end of this month. We're going to have them have them in and posted, because the cycle for both of these positions will be October to October. So we're really going so that person can be in place for our homecoming, and their work can be displayed and celebrated in the next year's homecoming.
And a lot of times when you look at the history of the CSRA, they talk about the politics and the economy. There's not a lot of dialogue on the culture. So what were people doing in the 1790s culturally? What were they doing in the 1840s culturally? What were they doing in the 1920s culturally? So our researcher, that's Wayne O'Brien, along with others, we're going to do a comprehensive timeline from the beginning of this area all the way to the modern era. So you'll be able to click on, say when the Lennox building was built, you'll be able to click on that link and it'll give you the date and the history, and it'll also book in when the building was torn down. Any major milestones that was, like when the Miller Theater opened up or when the Imperial Theater opened up, those kinds of things. Which connects also to our database, because that database would also include buildings, of significance to African American history, art, and culture. So that's another one that we're going to do. So we're going to need, if you know of information, we're definitely going to tap the public for that, because we want it to be accurate. We want it to be a resource. The reason we have such a research focus, we're hoping that, because that's the unique thing that we have is our history and our, and if we can find and discover the history of the CSRA and communicate that to the artists, maybe they can take that history and use it to inspire their works. That way we really are coming from, our own roots, what makes the CSRA the CSRA. But when you begin to hear some of the stories of what happened before, it definitely could inspire great music and great paintings and great plays and great cinema. And that's what we hope. Anybody who wants to be involved with the CSRA African-American Arts-Alliance is welcome. And we've gotten this because race is a big factor in this city, and we're not going to walk away from it. We look it square in the eye. The fact is, you see the unemployment rates with African Americans, you see the dropout rates, the incarceration rates, and all of those negative statistics, and that is one of the key reasons why our primary focus is on African Americans. We're not trying to exclude anybody, but we see that there's a tremendous need within that community. So that's where our focus is going to be. It's not like that we're against the symphony's progress or the ballet's progress or the Augusta Players' progress, not at all. We just see, it's just like if you had two children. One children is strong and vibrant and healthy, and you got one that's a little bit ill. So you maybe pay that child a little bit more attention. And by and large part, the African American arts community has been neglected. We haven't been engaged in a meaningful way across the board. And one of the big reasons a lot of the mainstream agencies has said they don't know them, and that's why that database again is important. So you'll be able to go on there and you'll click music and you'll see all the musicians. So that dispels that argument. At the same time, we want to hold a fire under the African American arts community and say you need to be more involved. Don't just complain about what's going on. Do something about it. From our town halls, one of the things that we're discovering is that one of the biggest conflicts or challenges that some arts agencies are having is with the church, because the churches are now beginning to do a lot more programming. So it's competing with, say you have a theater company and you got 15, 20, 30 churches that have a drama ministry and they're doing plays on a regular basis. So it's not so much of a novelty, for the community because they get it in church now. Or praise dance, and Sister Sailor does great African dance, but people get a sense that they're getting dance within their church. And it is, and I understand the purpose of that, and I don't want to attack religion by any means, but that's an issue for us. The church was Wednesday Bible study and Sunday activity. Now the church 5 or 6 days a week of activity, and it's a captivated audience. Many people have been involved in ministries for years. They have very close relationships, and we're trying to market to those people, but more often than not, what they're doing within their church community trumps something that may be going on in the wider community. And with 500 plus African American churches in the CSRA, you see the challenge. We're not a respecter of persons, and we're not going to dictate. We want the creative community to be what it is. For those who are agnostic or atheists, or those who are hip hop, because you have that dynamic. It's like fine and commercial. We're not going to make that distinction. We see every part serving its purpose. We'll let the public decide what it is they want. We won't say, well, we don't want to promote hip hop and we will support the fine arts. No. So fine, commercial, hip hop, any genre, all forms. That complete spectrum. We think it's valuable because it's a reflection of the people. It's a reflection of the CSRA. So we're not going to be somebody who's going to dictate what's good and what's bad. We just want to help, as an organization, build the infrastructure, be a resource for the community. Make sure that the creative community voice is heard in the political spectrum, in the schools, and that sort of thing. Yes, ma'am.
kind of going back to the previous question, our statement, is there, on the website, will there be a section for feedback and perhaps maybe even a forum so that what you just shared can get across to the artists that, you know, need to know that information? They can get feedback from people. I know that you have the town hall meetings, and I assume that you take some of that information and maybe we'll put it in like the newsletter. But if the website had some sort of forum to where people can go in there and see the discussions that people have, they can kind of have an idea of what people are interested in, you know, in seeing.
Yeah, and Mike is already working on that. We're gonna have a blog, so that will be one way. The magazine, again, like I said, the quarterly newsletter will be another way. Our monthly First Friday gatherings will be another way that we can kind of stay in the conversation with the artists. I mean, when we do our First Friday events, we're not trying to throw the fanciest party in the city. What we really want to do is be down about business. Every First Friday is where people can come up, where people can, you know, come up and find out what's going on. We can connect with each other, brother, sister, artists, that kind of thing.